So I was fortunate to get an internship at the Smithsonian my freshman year, and it was eye-opening because it was my first kind of window into what being an actual marine biologist or marine scientist looked like. And I was floored and amazed that you have this opportunity and ability to work outside in a kind of non-traditional office environment, kind of have a community of people who are all really intellectually smart, and in being an environment that's intellectually stimulating, but also relaxed, and that you get paid to do all of those things. That first internship really kind of opened my eyes to the possibility of what this career could look like, and it seemed to fit very well with both my interests as well as my personality, and so I knew from that moment that that was going to be the choice that I made. I'm trained as a marine biologist. I have a doctorate in marine science, and my educational pathway started when I was in undergrad at the University of Maryland, focusing in environmental science with the marine biology focus, and I spent a lot of time in undergrad doing internships at various institutions, exploring a variety of different approaches and disciplines to marine science, from studying sea turtles, coral reefs, all the way to marine worms. And then from there, ended up pursuing graduate education. That ended up being marine worms and the seafloor, and that led me to my current career location. I'm a principal scientist at Inspire Environmental, which is an environmental consulting company, and our focus is that we measure the health of the seafloor. We study the seafloor. As one of the principal scientists, I'm responsible in business development, so that's interacting with clients to both engage with them to share the service that we're able to provide and help them answer and resolve the problems that they have, as well as going out and actually conducting any of the surveys, that's doing the field work, being out on the boats, traveling around the world, as well as analyzing and interpreting the data. So we collect the data, that data has to be synthesized, analyzed, and then communicated back to the client. I have had key mentors every step or key phase along my career. When I was an undergrad, I met a guy that my freshman year who was a marine biologist at the Smithsonian, and he ended up serving as the mentor for me throughout my undergrad career, helping guide and direct me on both doing the internships or conducting internships, but also in thinking about how to approach applying for our higher education or graduate school. And then when I was in graduate school, my advisor served as a key component of my kind of maturation into what I would consider to be a scientist, or the scientist that I am today, and still serves as a mentor. I think having the right mentors in the right space with the right specific knowledge is key, critical, and important. I've been very fortunate to have that opportunity, and I try whenever possible to be a mentor to others and help guide them along the way in various capacities. I think it's really key and critical to get hands-on experience, whether that be through an internship or even having the opportunity to sit down, maybe shadow someone as they go through their kind of daily work, that pathway that you might end up following and what that looks like. Fortunately for us now, we're in this digital age where you can find most things on the internet, so I think that's a good starting place as well. But certainly I think, putting in the effort to really expose yourself, whether it be through remotely through visual media or ideally getting hands-on experiences, instrumental in helping you really understand and what a particular career path might look like. And one of the recent developments that has really taken off is the development of offshore wind. It's blown up in America and in other countries around the world, and there's been a kind of a full stop, I think, press towards getting and developing these turbine fields so that we can start generating energy through renewable resources. And so there is a wide variety of different applicabilities from a marine science perspective that goes into the development of offshore wind farm. And it starts even with just simple things like baseline work, understanding the environment that you're working in, both from a biological, physical, and even geological perspective. And so that, to me, is going to drive and dominate the marine science sphere in the applied world, just because of how much energy is being directed in that realm and just how much work there is to do. There's a real dearth of skilled people from top to bottom, even outside of marine science, and just because the demand is so high. And so if you're looking for career safety or an area where there will be jobs and high demand, offshore wind is going to be that area or arena. I suspect a lot more work will also involve around the development of permanent structures in the ocean, because offshore wind is going to have such a global appeal, and having an understanding of what that means in terms of like circulation patterns, changing of micro habitats within the environment. If you're techie at all, getting into and understanding AI, that's going to be hugely important, both in terms of data collection, having and developing robots that are actually out there collecting the data. I think I would advise persistence. There are going to be ups and downs, there'll be failures. You know, the one thing that you never see from people who are successful is rarely highlighted. You don't see someone's failures when they're successful, right? You see their success, and it can be lost that these people also have had, these bumpy roads, they've experienced setbacks, but that persistence and that determination is what drives them to continue moving forward. And I think also just keeping perspective is super important. Let it be more inspirational. So those could be the two things I would say is, persistence and perspective.